John, welcome and thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be on this talk.
Great. How about you start off, give a little bit of your background and what qualifies you to even be here and have this conversation, your experience with startups and what you've done now, and then we can get into the advice for all the founders.
Yeah, so I've been into this world for maybe over 13 years now. And I graduated from computer science school, and I was CTO at the beginning. I joined a couple of startups in 2010 in Norway, where everything was just starting. Like there was no startup ecosystem, just started. And then I joined probably first 3 startups that happened here in Norway. And then at the beginning, I felt like everything in the startup is about how difficult is the problem and how good is the technology and how much time do you put into solving it. And I think that's what a lot of the people think, especially tech people. And that's what I thought. And my first startups, I think I spent like enormous amount of time building software there. And I was pretty much surprised when I saw that there were not so many users. And that brought me to thinking that probably it's not that smart to go on to build software for a year with a team of people and only then go to the users and see if that works or not. So, and I did repeat that mistake many times. So basically for the first 4 or 5 years, I kept doing that. And I would say I kept failing with that. But I worked so hard that I would just work at the nights and weekends, and then we would get things done quickly. But still, we would spend a lot of time on building MVPs, and we would build everything from scratch every time. And then when I moved from startup to startup, I felt like I'm doing things all over again every time, and then things take time. And then I felt like something has to be different. Like, why am I doing the same things every year almost over again? Right? And that was like my experience for the first 5 years in the startups. And then after building about maybe 10 projects for like smaller and bigger startups, I realized that I have to push founders to build something simpler, to build something faster, to use technologies that let you build things faster. Because like most founders come from the idea that from things they hear outside, and those things are usually broadcasted by the corporates, that things have to be scalable, things have to be very secure, things have to be, you have to think about everything. And then, well, that's a good idea, like, but what's the cost, right? And I remember the first project I've been into, we have spent 2 years building. We burned about $30,000, and that's a lot of money back then. And then only then we launched, and then we realized that a lot of things didn't work. We thought will work, right? And then in the later startups, in the 2015, when I joined the new startup, I said we have to build whatever we want to build in 1 month. If we can't build that in 1 month, it means we're doing something wrong. So we have to now scope down the MVP. We have to not focus on anything what's not important, and we have to find technology that only helps us to build fast. It's not important what's going to happen after a year if we have 1 million users suddenly coming to our servers. Like if that happens, great, we're going to solve that problem somehow. But let's focus now on the problem that we have to spend a little money and launch MVP, and we have to iterate on that MVP, and we have to have money saved and left on our bank account that we can make 3 or 4 or 5 iterations, because that's when we're going to understand what has to be done.
And you're right. In our experience, the first MVP is usually wrong. Like there's a whole set of assumptions that go out there, and you want to figure out whether it's going to be validated or invalidated. And typically the first set of assumptions are completely wrong. And that's what you're trying to solve. So instead of spending all the money building something from scratch and then building something that's not going to work, and then you've lost all that, you're saying, let's build it faster, cheaper, so that if there is an iteration, it's not as costly to then get to eventually something that is going to work, which is what you experience doing this over and over and over again. Because yeah, founders think that they have to start building from scratch, which today is just not the case. So how'd I do as far as summarizing your experience and what you're talking about now? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.